The hum of the airplane engines filled the cabin, a soothing but constant reminder that they were thousands of feet above the ground. Two young women, Emma and Lily, sat side by side in seat 12F and 12E, respectively. The flight had seemed like any other, a routine trip to a military conference, but neither could have predicted the events that would unfold once the pilots realized who Emma truly was. Emma, dressed casually in a navy hoodie and jeans, gazed out the window at the clouds drifting beneath them. Her posture was relaxed, almost unassuming, but her mind was sharp and alert. She had been trained for years in military aviation, completing rigorous exercises, flight simulations, and even active duty missions in stealth fighter jets. Despite her impressive resume, she preferred to travel without fanfare, letting her accomplishments speak quietly when necessary. Lily, on the other hand, had no knowledge of Emma's true background. She had met Emma in college and had always admired her calm, collected demeanor, assuming that Emma was just another exceptionally disciplined student. Now, as they soared above the clouds, Lily noticed something strange. Emma's eyes weren't merely observing the passing scenery. They were scanning, calculating and analyzing every detail of the sky. "What are you looking at?" Lily asked casually, leaning closer. Emma smiled faintly but didn't immediately respond. "Just noticing patterns," she said. "Air currents, weather formations, flight paths. You pick up on these things when you've spent thousands of hours in the air." Lily's brow furrowed. "Wait, you've flown planes before?" Emma nodded subtly. "F-22s, stealth fighters." Lily's eyes widened. "You're kidding. You mean military?" Emma's lips curved into a small, knowing smile. "Yes, but not the kind you announce on commercial flights." She relaxed back into her seat, blending seamlessly with the other passengers around them. The flight attendants moved down the aisle, checking on passengers and ensuring everyone's safety. The cabin felt ordinary, mundane even, with people reading, chatting, and dozing off. But Emma's alertness never waned. She noticed subtle shifts in the air pressure, the distant sound of another jet in the sky, and the slight deviation of a wingtip as the plane adjusted its course. Lily watched her in fascination. "You make it sound incredible. How do you stay so calm all the time?" Emma's gaze shifted back to the window, where a small glint in the distance caught her attention. Her hand instinctively reached up, adjusting the strap of her backpack. "It's training," she said softly. "Discipline, observation, and knowing that even when you blend in, your actions matter." Minutes later, an announcement came over the intercom, signaling a minor flight delay due to air traffic in their corridor. Emma's attention immediately sharpened. She leaned slightly forward, scanning the horizon through the window. Her instincts kicked in. The glint she had seen moments ago wasn't an anomaly. It was a formation of F-22 fighter jets approaching from the adjacent airspace. Lily followed her gaze, squinting. "Are those jets?" Emma nodded without taking her eyes off them. "Yes, and they're aware we're here." As the jets drew closer, Emma's demeanor changed subtly. There was a quiet intensity in her posture, a poised readiness that spoke of years of combat training. She subtly reached into her bag, retrieving a small, discreet communication device, one that blended in with the standard equipment of a civilian passenger, but allowed secure communication with military air traffic control. Lily leaned closer, curious. "Emma, what's happening?" Emma glanced at her friend, a mixture of focus and reassurance in her eyes. "Just watch." The lead F-22, sleek and metallic, banked in their direction, cutting through the sky with the precision of a guided missile. Through the window, Lily could see the pilot clearly for the first time, helmet reflecting the sun and visor dark against the brilliant blue. And then it happened. Emma raised her hand in a sharp, formal salute, her fingers perfectly aligned, her posture exact. Lily's jaw dropped. "Wait, what are you doing?" The lead F-22 pilot's head tilted slightly, recognizing the gesture instantly. A second salute mirrored Emma's as the formation adjusted in perfect synchrony. The jets banked in a precise formation, engines roaring in a controlled display of discipline and respect. Other passengers, oblivious to the event outside, continued their conversations, unaware of the extraordinary moment unfolding beside them. Emma kept her salute, expression calm but commanding. Lily, unable to contain her amazement, leaned closer and whispered, That was incredible. They just saluted you." Emma lowered her hand subtly but maintained her composure. Yes, that's how it works. Recognition doesn't always require words. Actions, training, and respect speak louder. The jets continued past, executing a brief maneuver before ascending and disappearing into the distant sky. Lily turned to Emma, wide-eyed. You just made F-22 pilots stand at attention while we're on a regular flight. People don't even know who you are. That's insane. Emma shrugged, smiling faintly. It's not about showing off. It's about understanding how to command respect without demanding it. That's a skill I've had to perfect. The rest of the flight passed with an almost surreal calm. Emma returned to observing the clouds and reading air currents while Lily, still in shock, tried to process the magnitude of what she had just witnessed. Every so often she would glance out the window, hoping for another glimpse of the jets, but the sky remained clear. By the time the plane began its descent, the air in the cabin had taken on a more ordinary quality. Passengers buckled their seatbelts and adjusted for landing, unaware of the extraordinary demonstration of recognition and respect that had just occurred above the clouds. Lily leaned closer to Emma once more. I can't believe this. I mean, all this time I thought you were just normal, just another passenger. But you're incredible. Emma laughed softly. It's easy to blend in when you want to. Most people never know what's happening until it's too late. The real skill is being prepared, staying calm, and letting your training do the talking. The plane touched down smoothly, tires squealing against the runway. Emma exhaled, her expression calm but satisfied. They navigated the taxiway toward the terminal, and as passengers began to disembark, Lily turned to her friend again. You know, she said, still amazed, this story is going to be unbelievable to anyone I tell it to. They'll think I'm exaggerating. Emma smiled knowingly. Let them. Some lessons don't need validation from everyone. Only the right people need to recognize your skill. And they did. As they walked toward the baggage claim, the airport bustling with travelers, Emma's calm confidence remained unshaken. She knew that her abilities and experience set her apart, but she also understood the power of discretion, subtlety, and quiet command. And while the other passengers saw only a young woman in seat 12F, Emma had left an indelible mark on those who truly understood, F-22 pilots who had stood at attention, acknowledging her expertise and presence in a way that transcended words. Lily, still processing the events, finally broke the silence. Promise me something, Emma. Anything, Emma replied. Promise me you'll tell me your story someday. I need to understand everything about you. Emma glanced at her, a faint smile tugging at her lips. One day, when the time is right. For now, the lesson had been made clear. Recognition isn't always loud, attention isn't always public, and true skill is often understood only by those who are trained to notice it. And in that ordinary seat high above the clouds, Emma had demonstrated precisely that. The wheels of the plane hummed along the runway as Emma and Lily collected their belongings and moved toward the terminal. Lily could hardly stop talking, a mixture of shock, curiosity, and awe in her voice. I still can't believe it. You made F-22 pilots salute you. On a commercial flight. I mean, people don't even know who you are, and you... Emma held up a hand, gently interrupting her friend. Lily, listen. Not everyone needs to know. Recognition isn't for everyone, it's for the people who matter in that moment. The right people already saw what needed to be seen. Lily blinked, processing Emma's calm yet authoritative words. She had spent the past hour oscillating between disbelief and admiration. Okay, but I need answers. Who are you really? You've been hinting at your background for months. But this is something else entirely. Emma paused, glancing at the crowd moving through the terminal. Her posture relaxed but her eyes sharp, constantly scanning the environment for potential threats or unusual activity. You'll get the full story someday, she said, but not yet. Right now it's important we focus on where we're going and why we're here. Lily sighed but didn't press further, understanding that Emma's discretion was part of her strength. They moved toward the security exit, passing passengers who remained oblivious to the extraordinary encounter in the skies moments earlier. As they exited the airport, the sun dipped low, casting golden light across the terminal parking lot. Emma led the way to a waiting car, an unassuming black sedan. The driver, a reserved man in a suit, nodded respectfully as Emma approached. Ready, ma'am? He asked. Emma nodded briefly, sliding into the back seat next to Lily. Yes, let's proceed. Lily, still fascinated, couldn't contain herself. Seriously, Emma, you're not just any pilot. I mean, who trains for F-22s? That's elite. You could be on a classified mission tomorrow and no one would even know it. You're incredible. Emma's lips curved into a subtle smile, but her gaze remained calm and calculating. It's not about being incredible. It's about being prepared, being capable, and knowing that your actions, even when unseen, carry weight. The car drove smoothly, cutting through the evening traffic as the city lights began to flicker on. Emma remained silent, her mind clearly focused on the upcoming meeting at the military facility they were heading toward. This wasn't a casual trip. She had been invited for a private debriefing with senior Air Force officials to discuss new operational strategies and flight technologies. Lily, trying to absorb the significance, finally asked, "So, all the times you've been so calm, so normal around people, it's because you're always prepared for everything?" Emma nodded. "Exactly. You learn quickly that in aviation, in military operations, and in life, calm is strength, observation is power, and patience, well, patience is survival." The sedan pulled up to a secure entrance guarded by personnel who gave a discreet nod upon recognizing Emma. The security protocols were meticulous but familiar to her. They passed swiftly through checks, heading toward a restricted area within the facility. Once inside, they were escorted to a conference room filled with advanced flight simulators, detailed charts of flight paths, and personnel in sharp uniforms discussing operational logistics. Emma greeted a few of the officers, her demeanor professional, composed, and confident. "Emma," one officer began, "we were impressed by your performance during the last operational drills. Your insights on formation strategy and situational awareness have been invaluable. We've requested your presence here today to discuss integrating your tactical approach into the new stealth flight program." Emma nodded, taking a seat and reviewing the digital displays in front of her. Her eyes moved across the holographic maps, analyzing flight corridors, enemy positioning simulations, and advanced reconnaissance data. She tapped the screen, highlighting vulnerabilities in hypothetical scenarios and adjusting formations with the precision of someone who had lived and breathed this world for years. Lily watched silently from the side, overwhelmed by the magnitude of Emma's expertise. It wasn't just that she had flown F-22s. It was how she thought about the skies, the formations, the pilots under her command, and the strategies that could mean the difference between success and failure in real combat. One officer leaned forward, clearly curious. "How do you maintain such composure under pressure?" Most pilots would hesitate or second-guess their decisions during high-stress situations. Emma's expression remained calm, discipline and repetition. "You prepare for everything you can anticipate and you train for what you can't. Confidence isn't about ego. It's about trusting your training, your instincts, and your team." Lily finally spoke up, unable to contain herself. "Emma, this is insane. I mean, sitting next to you in seat 12F, I never imagined this is what you were capable of. You're not just some passenger, you're extraordinary." Emma smiled softly, a hint of warmth breaking through her composed exterior. "Extraordinary isn't what matters. Preparedness, skill, and awareness, these are what truly count. The rest is secondary." As the discussion continued, Emma demonstrated tactical simulations, adjusting F-22 formations in real time to counter threats and optimize flight efficiency. Every decision she made was deliberate, calculated, and precise. The officers watched, impressed by her insights and the clarity with which she communicated complex maneuvers. After several hours, the briefing concluded. Emma and Lily were escorted to a private observation deck overlooking an active runway, where F-22s were stationed and maintained for upcoming missions. The pilots, recognizing Emma's presence, lined up respectfully, acknowledging her with the same formal salutes she had inspired in the sky earlier. Lily's eyes widened once more. "Wait, they actually do this for you? Every time?" Emma nodded, a quiet humility in her posture. "Respect is mutual. They know my background, my training, and my experience. In return, I acknowledge their skill and commitment. It's about professionalism, not ego." As the sun set, casting orange and purple hues across the runway, Emma shared a rare moment of reflection with Lily. "It's funny," she said softly, "how people perceive you. On a plane, I could be invisible to everyone else, just another passenger. But in the right context, my presence changes everything. The key is knowing when and how to act. Lily shook her head, awestruck. I will never look at a normal flight the same way again. You've shown me that there's so much more behind the scenes than anyone realizes. Emma smiled, a subtle mix of pride and restraint. Exactly. Most people see only what's visible. Few understand the full story, and that's okay. It's not about recognition from everyone. It's about making the right impact when it matters most. As night fell, the F-22s returned to their hangars, engines quiet but their presence commanding even in stillness. Emma and Lily left the observation deck, walking together in silence for a few moments, the gravity of the day settling in. Lily finally said, "Promise me. Someday you'll tell me everything. I want to understand it all, the call signs, the missions, everything." Emma glanced at her, her expression unreadable but warm. "One day, Lily, when the time is right. For now," the secret remained, cloaked in the calm, collected demeanor of the young woman who had transformed a seemingly ordinary flight into a demonstration of respect, skill, and undeniable authority. Lily realized something profound. True greatness often went unnoticed until the right moment revealed it. And Emma had chosen the perfect moment. The following morning, Emma and Lily arrived at the military air base before sunrise. The facility was sprawling and heavily secured, with F-22s lined up on the runway, maintenance crews bustling about, and the hum of engines occasionally breaking the quiet of dawn. To most civilians, it would have appeared intimidating, almost overwhelming, but to Emma it was routine. She walked with calm authority, her presence commanding subtle attention from the personnel who recognized her instantly. Lily struggled to keep up, her eyes wide with curiosity and awe. "I swear, Emma, this place feels like a completely different world. It's like stepping into some top-secret movie set." Emma smiled faintly, her gaze scanning the surroundings. "It is different, but it's not about glamour or appearances. It's about precision, training, and discipline. Everything you see here has a purpose, and every person has a role to play. That's what makes it work." They approached a group of pilots gathered near the F-22s. The lead pilot, a tall man, with a chiseled jawline and an air of authority, turned sharply when he saw Emma. His hand instinctively went up in salute before she even reached him. Emma returned the salute with the same precision and formality, her expression calm yet commanding. Lily's jaw dropped. "Wait, that's how they react to you?" she whispered. Emma nodded without speaking. The lead pilot gestured subtly and the other pilots lined up in formation, engines rumbling in quiet acknowledgement of her presence. It wasn't showmanship. It was mutual recognition among trained professionals. Respect earned through experience and skill, not through words or appearances. "Emma," the lead pilot began, "we were informed you would be joining us for today's tactical simulations. The team is ready for your instructions." Emma stepped forward confidently, reviewing the flight plans displayed on a nearby digital screen. The mission was complex. Simulated intercepts, formation maneuvers, and aerial reconnaissance exercises designed to test both leadership and tactical decision-making. She studied the data carefully, her eyes scanning every detail, every variable, every potential complication. "This formation," she began, pointing to the holographic flight paths, "needs tighter coordination. Timing is critical. We'll start with a diamond formation for the intercept, but I want adjustments for altitude variance and crosswind corrections. Maintain line-of-sight protocols at all times, and be ready for abrupt maneuvers if the opposing element appears." The pilots nodded, taking her instructions seriously. They trusted her implicitly, recognizing not only her skill, but her experience. Lily, standing a few steps back, could hardly believe what she was witnessing. The calm authority, the immediate respect from elite pilots, and the way Emma commanded the scenario, all of it was beyond anything she had ever imagined. As the simulations commenced, the pilots executed maneuvers flawlessly under Emma's guidance. She communicated with clarity and precision, adjusting strategies in real time, demonstrating a level of tactical awareness that left even the senior officers observing the simulation impressed. Lily leaned closer, whispering in awe, "Emma, I don't even know how to process this. You're incredible. They're all listening to you like you're..." like you're in charge of the sky itself. Emma gave a small smile but remained focused on the task at hand. Leadership isn't about ego or being in charge. It's about understanding the environment, the team, and the mission. Every decision matters. The moment you underestimate a factor, things can go wrong very quickly. Hours passed as they continued the exercises, moving from simulated intercepts to high-speed maneuvers and emergency scenarios. Emma's mind worked like a well-oiled machine, calculating variables, predicting outcomes, and guiding the pilots with subtle corrections and strategic advice. The simulations demanded split-second decision-making, and yet she executed every command flawlessly, maintaining composure and authority throughout. At one point, a scenario simulated a sudden engine failure on one of the jets. Emma calmly instructed a series of maneuvers to maintain formation integrity while ensuring the disabled aircraft could safely return to base. The pilots executed her commands seamlessly, their trust in her unwavering. A senior officer observing the exercise approached Emma afterward, clearly impressed. Most pilots would falter under such pressure. You not only maintained control, but you optimized the response in real time. Your command of both the technical and human elements is remarkable. Emma nodded respectfully. It's all about preparation and understanding the variables. If you know your capabilities and your team's capabilities, you can make precise decisions even under stress. Lily, watching from a distance, could hardly contain herself. I've never seen anything like this. You're amazing, Emma. I mean it. They treat you like you're some kind of legend here. Emma allowed herself a faint smile. Not a legend, just someone who knows her role, respects the role of others, and takes responsibility seriously. That's all. Later in the day, they moved outside for a live demonstration. F-22s took to the sky, engines roaring, leaving trails of vapor against the bright blue. Emma stood near the edge of the runway, binoculars in hand, observing the maneuvers. Lily could see the intensity in her eyes, the focus that went beyond casual observation. This wasn't play. It was precision, discipline, and mastery in motion. At one point, a formation of jets performed a low pass directly over the runway. Emma raised her hand in a formal salute, an echo of the gesture she had made during the flight the day before. The lead pilot, recognizing her instantly, mirrored the salute. Lily gasped, watching the sleek jets execute perfect alignment while acknowledging Emma's presence. Every pilot knows who you are, Lily whispered in awe. You don't even have to say a word. They just recognize your authority. Emma lowered her hand and turned to Lily with a faint private smile. Recognition isn't about proving anything to everyone. It's about earning respect where it matters, with people who understand the stakes. That's enough. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, the pilots returned to base, engines throttling down with precision. Emma and Lily walked along the tarmac, observing the activity. Maintenance crews moved efficiently, preparing aircraft for the next mission, while senior officers quietly debriefed their teams. Lily glanced at Emma again, trying to reconcile the unassuming woman she had met on the plane with the commanding presence she now witnessed. I don't know how you do it, she said softly. You can sit in a plane like a normal passenger and then here, you're a force of nature. People they follow you. Emma considered her words carefully. It's not about being followed. It's about responsibility. When you have the skills, knowledge, and experience, the right people will respond appropriately. That's how coordination and efficiency are achieved. Leadership is silent until it needs to speak. The day ended with a private debrief in a control room, where officers reviewed the performance of the pilots under Emma's guidance. Charts, flight logs, and real-time telemetry were displayed across multiple screens. Emma analyzed every move, noting minor improvements and strategic adjustments for future exercises. Her attention to detail was meticulous, her judgment precise. Lily, exhausted but awed, watched Emma at work. She finally understood that the calm, unassuming demeanor on the plane was a deliberate choice, a way to navigate the world without unnecessary attention, while keeping a lifetime of extraordinary skill in reserve. At the end of the debrief, Emma addressed the officers with her characteristic precision. The pilots performed exceptionally. Minor adjustments in formation alignment and response protocols will increase efficiency and safety during future exercises. Overall, the team demonstrated competence, discipline, and adaptability. The officers nodded in agreement, impressed not only by the content but by the quiet authority in her delivery. Lily, standing beside her, felt a surge of admiration and pride for her friend. As they left the facility that evening, the sky painted in shades of orange and pink, Lily turned to Emma. Wow. I had no idea. You're incredible in ways I never imagined. I feel like I've seen a side of the world I could never even dream of. Emma glanced at her, expression calm but warm. One day you'll see more. But for now, just understand that what matters isn't the recognition from everyone. It's making sure you do what's necessary, when it matters most. And, with that, the two walked back toward the vehicle, the sound of distant jets echoing faintly, a reminder that the sky held a world of discipline, skill, and silent respect that few could truly comprehend. The next day, the base was alive with activity long before dawn. Emma and Lily arrived at the briefing room, the quiet hum of pre-flight preparations echoing through the halls. Today, the exercise was not a simulation in a digital environment. It was a live aerial operation involving multiple F-22s in coordinated maneuvers. The stakes were high, and Emma's presence was central to the planning and execution. Lily, still trying to reconcile the unassuming woman she met on the plane with the commanding figure in the base, whispered, "I swear, every time I see you, Emma, it's like I'm discovering a new level of amazing." Emma didn't reply immediately. Her gaze was fixed on the flight charts displayed in holographic form above the table. Routes, altitudes, intercept points, and potential contingencies were projected in vivid detail. Every variable mattered, and Emma scanned each one with meticulous precision. Today's exercise is about rapid response, formation discipline, and precision interception, she said, finally turning her attention to the assembled pilots. We'll begin with a high-altitude patrol, move into a crosswind approach, then execute an intercept formation against simulated intruders. Timing, coordination, and trust are non-negotiable. Any hesitation could compromise the mission. The pilots, many of whom had years of experience themselves, nodded in unison. There was a rare tension in the room, an acknowledgement that Emma's involvement elevated the operation to a level beyond ordinary exercises. As they prepared to board the jets, Lily followed closely, observing the pre-flight checks and the disciplined choreography of the maintenance crews. Emma walked among the jets with calm authority, checking equipment, reviewing flight plans, and offering concise guidance to each pilot. Her presence was magnetic, quiet, composed, and yet undeniably commanding. Once in the cockpit of her assigned F-22, Emma's hands moved across the controls with practiced precision. Lily, seated in a secure observation area with a panoramic view of the runway, watched as Emma and the other pilots taxied for takeoff. Engines roared to life, the vibration resonating through the tarmac as the jets lined up in formation. "Formation, Alpha," Emma's voice came over the secure communication channel, calm and measured. "Maintain altitude separation of 50 feet. Keep crosschecks every 10 seconds. Execute intercept protocol on my command." The jets lifted off in perfect unison, slicing through the morning mist with sleek, predatory grace. Lily's eyes widened as the planes climbed, banked, and executed maneuvers with flawless synchronicity. Emma, at the helm, remained a beacon of calm amidst the controlled chaos of flight. Midway through the exercise, a simulated threat appeared on the radar, a pair of intruder drones approaching at high velocity. Emma's voice cut through the comms with authority. "Evasive maneuvers, Sector Delta, lead jet, flank left. All units maintain line of sight and altitude integrity. Engage intercept at my signal." The pilots executed her commands flawlessly, responding with precision and discipline. The simulation required split-second timing, coordination, and confidence in Emma's leadership. Lily, watching from the observation deck, could see the intensity of her friend's focus. Every adjustment, every command calculated, deliberate, and perfect. "Emma," one of the pilots transmitted over the comms, "your timing on the intercept was perfect. I don't know anyone else who could coordinate this in real time under such pressure." Emma's reply was calm, professional. "Trust your training and follow the protocols. Precision comes from preparation, not panic." The exercise escalated further as they moved into a low-altitude pass over rugged terrain. Visibility was limited, wind currents were unpredictable, and the margin for error was minimal. Yet Emma navigated with poise, issuing commands that were concise and decisive. Every pilot in formation responded seamlessly, a testament to their respect and trust in her judgment. Suddenly, one of the jets experienced a simulated engine anomaly. The scenario required immediate adjustments to avoid collision while maintaining formation integrity. Emma's voice cut through the tension. Unit 6, reduce thrust slightly. Units 3 and 4, maintain altitude, flank to compensate. Lead unit, adjust heading 5 degrees starboard. Execute stabilizing maneuver now. The pilots executed her instructions with flawless precision. Lily, observing through the reinforced glass, could hardly contain her amazement. How does she do that? It's like she's controlling the sky itself. After the exercise, the jets returned to the base, engines throttling down with perfect coordination. Emma exited her cockpit, her uniform slightly disheveled from the intense operation, but her composure untouched. She walked along the tarmac with Lily trailing, observing the silent acknowledgement from pilots who had just completed one of the most challenging exercises of the season. A senior officer approached, visibly impressed. Emma, your leadership during the live intercept exercise was exceptional. Every maneuver, every adjustment, and every command was executed flawlessly. The pilots responded to you without hesitation. It was remarkable. Emma nodded humbly. It's not about recognition, sir. It's about precision, teamwork, and responsibility. Everyone performed their roles exceptionally. That's what makes it work. Lily couldn't contain herself any longer. Emma, you just turned a whole squadron of F-22 pilots into your team. You're unbelievable. I mean, on the plane, it was amazing. But this is insane. Emma allowed herself a faint smile. It's not about being unbelievable. It's about understanding what needs to be done and making sure it happens. The right people recognize it. That's enough. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emma and Lily sat in the observation lounge, watching jets taxi back to their hangars. The hum of machinery, the chatter of pilots, and the quiet respect permeated the air. Lily turned to Emma, her eyes wide with awe. I feel like I've been given a glimpse into a world I could never even imagine. You're extraordinary. Emma's gaze softened slightly. Extraordinary is just perception, Lily. Preparation, skill, and calm under pressure, those are what matter. Recognition comes naturally when you act with integrity and competence. The day ended with a debriefing session, where Emma analyzed every maneuver, noting minor improvements and ensuring that each pilot understood her observations. Her attention to detail was meticulous, her judgment precise, and her guidance invaluable. As they walked back toward the base entrance, Lily finally said, "Promise me. Someday you'll tell me everything. I want to know the full story, the call signs, the missions, everything." Emma glanced at her, expression calm but warm. "One day, Lily, when the time is right. For now." The lesson had been made clear. True authority is silent until it needs to be demonstrated, and respect is earned through skill, integrity, and unwavering composure. Emma had commanded the sky, the pilots, and even the awe of her friend, all without needing anyone else to notice. And as the night settled over the airbase, the two friends walked together, the silhouettes of F-22s in the background, engines silent but their presence undeniable, a reminder that the sky recognizes those who have mastered it. The final day of the live aerial exercises dawned crisp and clear, the sky painted in shades of gold and lavender as the sun broke over the horizon. Emma arrived early at the airbase, her calm presence immediately recognized by the pilots and officers already preparing for the day. There was a palpable sense of anticipation in the air. This was the culmination of weeks of training, coordination, and precision, and Emma's role would determine the success of the operation. Lily trailed beside her, still in awe. "Emma, I don't even know how to describe this. Watching you command these pilots, it's like witnessing a master at work." Emma smiled faintly. "It's not about being watched. It's about ensuring the mission succeeds. Every pilot, every maneuver, every decision matters. That's what leadership is. Responsibility, not applause." The briefing room was quiet, the weight of the upcoming exercise pressing on everyone present. Emma took the front of the room, reviewing flight plans, tactical data, and contingencies with meticulous attention. Every potential variable was considered: weather conditions, flight paths, pilot stamina, and communication protocols. The exercise required synchronization of multiple F-22s in high-speed aerial maneuvers over complex terrain, a challenge that demanded not only skill, but unwavering trust in leadership. "Team," Emma began, her voice calm yet commanding, "today's exercise will push every one of you to the limit. We're not just flying jets, we're executing precision operations. You must trust your training, trust your instincts, and trust each other. I will guide you. But the success of this operation depends on your discipline and responsiveness." The pilots responded with a unified acknowledgement, their respect for Emma evident in every gesture. Lily watched from the observation area, heart pounding as she absorbed the gravity of the scene. She realized that Emma's quiet demeanor on the plane was only a small glimpse of the immense skill and authority she carried. As the F-22s prepared for takeoff, Emma entered her cockpit, her hands moving deftly over the controls, checking instruments, confirming coordinates, and issuing final instructions via secure communication channels. The engines roared to life, the vibrations resonating through the tarmac. The jets lifted off in perfect unison, slicing through the morning mist with precision and power. Mid-flight, the squadron faced multiple simulated threats. Drones and enemy aircraft appeared on the radar, each requiring immediate strategic responses. Emma's voice cut through the comms with clarity and authority. "Unit 1, intercept at 45-degree heading. Unit 2, flank and maintain altitude separation of 50 feet. All units maintain line-of-sight protocols and prepare for evasive maneuvers." The pilots executed her commands flawlessly. Every adjustment, every maneuver, every decision was precise. Lily, observing from above the airbase through reinforced glass, could barely contain her amazement. The sky was alive with activity, jets performing complex aerial choreography under Emma's expert guidance. At one point, a simulated emergency forced rapid reorganization. A jet experienced a sudden engine malfunction, requiring immediate coordination to avoid collision while maintaining formation integrity. Emma's voice remained calm, calculated, and authoritative. "Unit 4, reduce thrust slightly. Unit 5, adjust altitude by 5 meters. Lead unit, change heading 2 degrees starboard. Execute stabilizing maneuver immediately." The pilots responded seamlessly, their trust in Emma absolute. Lily's jaw dropped as she witnessed the choreography, planes banking and adjusting in perfect unison, a dance of precision and discipline. After hours of intense aerial exercises, the squadron returned to the base. The engines throttled down in unison, and the pilots exited their jets, faces reflecting both exhaustion and pride. Emma emerged from her cockpit composed but visibly satisfied. She walked along the tarmac, the respect from the pilots clear in their salutes and the disciplined alignment as they moved past her. A senior officer approached, clearly impressed. "Emma, your command today was extraordinary. The coordination, timing, and decision-making were flawless. These pilots executed every maneuver with precision because of your leadership. Rarely have we seen such mastery in a live exercise." Emma nodded respectfully. "It's not about me, it's about the team, preparation, and discipline. Every pilot performed exceptionally. My job was to guide, not to overshadow." Lily, watching from the side, finally spoke, her voice trembling with awe. "Emma, you've done it again. You've transformed an entire squadron into a perfectly synchronized unit. You're incredible. I've never seen anything like this." Emma allowed herself a faint smile. "Extraordinary is perception, Lily. Skill, preparation, and integrity, those are what matter. Recognition comes naturally when you act with responsibility and composure." Later, the team gathered for a final debrief. Charts, flight logs, and telemetry data were displayed across multiple screens. Emma analyzed each maneuver, highlighting improvements, noting exceptional decisions, and giving concise guidance to ensure that every pilot would learn from the exercise. Her attention to detail and methodical approach impressed not only the pilots, but the observing senior officers. As the debrief concluded, the lead pilot approached Emma. "I've flown with countless officers and leaders, but your ability to command respect, coordinate complex maneuvers, and remain unshakable under pressure, it's unparalleled. You don't just lead, you inspire confidence." Emma's expression remained calm but warm. "Confidence comes from preparation, not words. Trust your training, trust your team, and act decisively. That's all anyone needs to do. As the day faded into evening, the sun cast long shadows across the runway. Emma and Lily walked together, the tarmac quiet except for the distant hum of engines and occasional chatter of personnel. Lily, overwhelmed by everything she had witnessed, finally said, "Emma, I don't think anyone will ever fully understand how incredible you are. You could sit in a regular seat on a plane and be invisible, and yet, here, you command the sky itself." Emma glanced at her, eyes softening. "Not invisible, Lily, strategic, prepared, calm. People recognize what matters when it matters." "That's the lesson." Lily nodded, still awestruck. "I feel like I've witnessed history. You've taken ordinary moments and turned them into demonstrations of skill and respect. You're extraordinary in ways I can't even describe." Emma smiled faintly. "Extraordinary is fleeting. What lasts is mastery, integrity, and the ability to act when it counts. That's what matters, and that's what the pilots saw today." As they exited the base, the silhouettes of F-22s rested quietly in their hangars, engines silent, yet their presence commanding even in stillness. Emma's calm authority had not only directed the exercises, but had left a lasting impression on everyone who had witnessed her skill. The pilots, the officers, and even her friend Lily. In that moment, Lily realized something profound. True greatness isn't always loud or visible. It manifests quietly, through competence, preparation, and the ability to inspire respect. Emma had commanded the sky, the pilots, and the admiration of those around her, all without needing recognition from the world. And as they walked toward the waiting vehicle under the twilight sky, Lily whispered, "Promise me. One day you'll tell me everything. I want to know the full story, the call signs, the missions, everything." Emma glanced at her, calm but warm. "One day, Lily, when the time is right. For now, the lesson was complete. Recognition isn't always public. Authority doesn't always demand attention. And skill paired with composure commands respect in ways words never could." Emma had proven it, both in the sky and on the ground. As they drove away from the base, the fading silhouettes of the jets against the twilight sky were a silent testament to her mastery, her presence, and the respect she had earned. Emma had transformed a simple flight and a series of exercises into a demonstration of leadership, discipline, and excellence. And Lily, by her side, had witnessed the quiet power of a woman who commanded the skies, and the respect of those who flew them.